Now that you understand the pros and cons of X10, let's take a look at some alternatives, just so that you know what's out there. It's worth noting that you can do some mixing and matching with your home automation setup, depending on which products you choose, and that these aren't mutually exclusive. You don't have to choose one up front and be stuck with that choice forever, so to speak. Insteon is, like X10, a home automation protocol. It was designed by a company called Smart Labs Inc., and it targets the same sort of devices as X10, meaning that you can control lights, HVAC, etc. An important difference between Insteon and X10 is that Insteon is dual band. To understand what this means, consider that X10 is generally single band over the home's electrical wiring, meaning that its main operational medium is the home electric only. Even though we've been using an X10 device that does transmit over RF, this is an adaptation added later and not the X10 standard. Insteon, on the other hand, is dual band because signals are transmitted over both the electrical wiring and wirelessly as part of its standard. This redundancy dramatically reduces the problem of signal noise on the electrical line, while allowing Insteon to work pretty easily with your existing X10 devices. Another real plus of Insteon is that it is a mesh network, meaning that the individual nodes in the network can communicate with one another, as opposed to all nodes having to be designated either as broadcasters or receivers. And finally, Insteon devices can be polled for status, unlike X10 devices. These are powerful advantages, so not surprisingly, you will pay a premium for them. Insteon home automation is not nearly as inexpensive as X10, and the additional flexibility creates additional programming challenges as well. Z-Wave is owned by a company called Sigma Designs, who makes the chips that product makers use to create Z-Wave products. The group that drives it, the Z-Wave Alliance, has over 1,000 different devices that are compatible, meaning that there is a huge range of options. Z-Wave, like Insteon, is a mesh network, but unlike Insteon, it's single band and purely wireless, and generally not prone to interference. It's also known for being low on power consumption, which is nice for battery-powered devices on the network. And it allows for device polling as well. Like Insteon, Z-Wave's nice feature set does come at a cost premium. It's also not nearly as easy to mix Z-Wave devices with X10 ones. You'd basically need a software solution to mediate the communication between the networks, kind of as a virtual translator. Furthermore, Sigma Designs controls the protocol, and it is not an open one, which can make hobbyist extension and hacking somewhat difficult. There is also, like X10, a relatively small upper bound on the number of nodes that you'll be able to support from a practical perspective. Zigbee is fairly similar to Z-Wave. It's also wireless-only mesh protocol, and it is also light on power consumption. Zigbee is a standard from the IEEE, and it operates over 802 wireless, so it generally boasts the same perks as Z-Wave. It can, however, support a huge number of nodes on the network, both in theory and in practice. Unlike Z-Wave, Zigbee is an open protocol, making it easier to work with for the hobbyist. Generally speaking, Zigbee devices suffer from the same drawbacks as Z-Wave, such as being more expensive than X10 and not easily interoperating with X10 devices.